We have been talking about forgiveness for quite a few mornings now, and one important point to really make clear is that forgiveness, like God actually means it in our lives, like the thing that is actually enough for things in our lives, that forgiveness is a supernatural blessing. It is not a natural thing. It is not something I'm going to sweat out of myself. It is not something I'm going to create. It's not something I'm going to force myself to, but it is something that God does in our, like He's involved in this. Else how would it work? So it's important. Do not imagine that your good heart is going to do this. That's not something that it's not going to happen like God teaches us to do this. And do not turn to the world like to a Gandhi or some other great moral teachers, great teachers in the world of morality. They have no idea about this kind of forgiveness. They are, worldly psychology. They don't know what they are talking about when they try to analyze this. If this is real from God, then that's like a supernatural and awesome thing in our lives. And only God can teach your heart. Only God is, radical enough, okay? You and I were not radical enough about forgiveness. The world, okay, let's forget that thought. So Romans 4:7 says, blessed are they whose iniquities are forgiven. Okay, so it is a blessing, okay? It is a supernatural, forgiveness is a supernatural thing. Do people in the world do it? Yeah, sure, they do it to a certain degree. But then the one that God teaches us is of a different level. It is of a different weight. It is of a different effect. Okay, in our hearts, like the letting go that God teaches your heart and mine in forgiving as He forgives. That is like an absolutely different thing. It is really something very beautiful. So there are. So there are awful things in our lives, everyone's life, sadly, and so my sin in my life and the results of my sin in my life, that's pretty bad, and I can mess up my life very well, and I'm sure I have a lot of times. But then there are others, people and other people outside. And then their sin affects my life, and that's where I need to learn to forgive. Okay, all those people who I don't have any power over, any control over, and yet their sin influences my life. And like all those people, okay, all those people who should have dealt better with you. All right, your failed parents, your ex-boyfriend, your ex-wife, only God is radical enough. Only He goes far enough in this to matter, actually. With God and only with God can I take on my heart to deal with your sin in my life and to deal with others' sin in their effect. So the effect of their sin in my life. And this is, how does this happen? Well, when I trust Him enough to give Him power over my life, then I find that there I have power to handle things by Him that are beyond me. And the effect of someone else's sin in my life is such a thing. And I need to learn to forgive. Yeah, well, now I'm walking with God. I have yielded my life to Him. Therefore, and this is amazing, I now have power in my heart, over my heart even, to deal with the effect of other people's sin in my life. And that's something very, very powerful, very beautiful and very powerful. So it is a supernatural blessing when we have this, and God helps us with this. Sure, we have many decisions in this. First, to yield our lives to Him and trust Him more than ourselves. And that's not easy. And then the other side, of course, that I decide to agree with Him about this when that effect of someone's sin in my life is so painful, and then I agree with God and I say, okay, with you I can do this, Lord. And then I let go, and I find all that freedom and all that blessing that we have been talking about here. But it does have to be, God needs to be involved with us in this. So God bless your day.